folks, Quill18 here, and welcome to Let's Play a Little Interstellar Transport Company. Interstellar Transport Company is a game that is still definitely in alpha, early access on Steam, and the reason I'm playing it is because Chris, who donated $1,000 or more to the Extra Life Charity Marathon, requested this as his game for that donation reward. So thank you very much, Chris, for your awesome support and of awesome charity, as well as getting me to play a game that I think is going to be absolutely fantastic. I'm very much looking forward to seeing this one go forward. The user interface is still definitely under development in a lot of places, but the gameplay, I think, is very, very enticing. To me, I get a little bit of like an Aurora 4X vibe, and I think you might get that as well when we go in, even though it is purely sort of like businessy kind of thing as opposed to military type ships, but we'll see how it goes. Anywho, let's go ahead and get started. I've gone through the tutorial. I've dabbled a little in single player. Not a lot of experience with it. It's still going to be mostly like early impressions, but I think we should be able to make do. So the game does recommend to start off with that we do one of the predefined games. You can go custom game and tweak some of the galaxy stuff that you're going to be playing with, but we'll go ahead and do that. It is going to apparently support multiplayer, although I like how it's got the buggy icons all over it, just to let you know. So we'll predefined, we'll go on normal difficulty. We are going to name ourselves the Quillian Transport Co. is what we're going to go. And yeah, I'm going to go with blue, I guess, for my color. I like that a fair bit. And we're going to hit accept. And it's going to generate the galaxy here. Well, I mean, it's predefined. I don't know if it's like predefined within certain characteristics or 100% predefined. I actually don't know what the deal will be. We'll find out when through a little bit more experience. But I will tell you this: we are going to be starting on Earth in the Sol system. So we're just going to wait for the game to load up, and then I'll pause and we'll zoom out and we'll take a look around at some things. There we go. So again, visually speaking, not the most impressive game at a glance, but I think it's going to be quite cool. So we've got a sort of a galactic, little cluster of stars that we're dealing with over here. Doesn't look like there's a lot of them, but the thing is, there's going to be a lot of stuff before we even leave Sol. There's going to be a dramatic amount of time to be spent here. So this is the Sol system. The usual suspects. We got Mercury, Venus. We've got Earth along with Luna there, the moon. Mars over here. We've got Jupiter with a ton of moons. I mean, obviously, like, Mars has got moons in real life, but some of them might be too small, so they're not, necessarily something to be worth talking about. And Saturn and so on and so forth. And Neptune. No Pluto. Of course not. It's not a planet. Come on, give it up. So we've got the Sol system over here. It is the year 2050, and we, along with a handful of other companies, have started in interstellar transportation. Now, at the start of the game, there's going to be a semi-random setup that may be involved in terms of where there's some colonies. I mean, certainly, we have Earth. And that is a pretty sweet Earth over here. Now, the Earth does have a pretty impressive spaceport over here with many gates available. They are in space. They're presumably linked to, I don't know, I was going to say a space elevator, but the space elevator would be on the equator, I think. But anyway, it's got a series of gates available for lease. So you can rent a gate from Earth spaceports that you can use to land and take off your ships from. In fact, we're going to need at least one gate. We may as well go ahead and rent one. We'll rent this one here, gate 20. As far as I know, they all have the same price. I think the price of renting the gates, I think it has a lot to do with the population of the planet, the development level, that sort of thing. Some are really cheap, some are really expensive. Probably has a lot to do with the level of the spaceport as well. So there's a medium regional spaceport. It's level 8 over here. So we're going to lease one of these gates. That way, we have the ability to land and take ships off from there. There's also a colony on Luna, on the moon over here. There's actually 6.3 million people living here already. Development level still pretty low. This will go up in time if we ship machinery over here. Machinery, when we got 100% of it here, when it reaches maximum to one machine. So the more machinery you have available, the faster the development level will go up. And I believe they consume machinery as it goes. Now, all planets, all colonies have supply and demand of various goods. So when the bar is above the 0 mark over here, there's a demand. So here there's a demand for food and water, as well as machinery and colonists. And there's a supply here of raw materials and raw resources. So the moon's got some of those things. If we take a look at the Earth over here, you can see that the Earth supplies food, water. It's actually got a lot of these because it tries to scale it up. Supplies consumer goods as well. Has a demand for raw materials, which we can get from the moon if we want, and a demand for raw resources, which again we can get from the moon as well. The list of people down here in particular are going to really pad out a lot, and we'll start to see where people want to go. So here's some colonists who want to go from Earth to Luna, and there's some people here who want to go Earth to Mars, because indeed we are going to start with a Martian colony over here. This is going to start off the medium spaceport, only level 3 spaceport, which not every ship can land at. And in fact, if I understand things correctly, until you get to level 5, because it's a surface port over here as opposed to a spaceport, ships have to land here. And there's a fuel cost. The size of the planet so the bigger the size of the planet, the more the mass of the planet, which means it takes more fuel to land and take off from here. Also, it gets doubled if they have to land on the surface, which is the case over here. Once we get to a level 5 port, it becomes a spaceport, and we don't have to land. So right now, fuel costs on Mars would be quite high. Also, it's pretty far away. Only 500,000 people here as well, but there's some demand going on. We're going to focus at first with the route between Earth and the moon. You can see here there's a little security vessel going on over there. We'll talk a bit more about that. So with the moon, we want to deliver some goods here. It's level 7, so it's a spaceport, which is going to be great. We're going to go ahead and lease one of these gates. You can see it's considerably cheaper to lease a gate over here. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So we've got a gate on both, which means we can start running routes. In fact, we will now go and create a route over here. So we're going to create a new route like so. And I'm going to add a stop. I'm going to have it go from Earth to the moon. Back and forth, basically, like that. Now, we are going to focus first by delivering food and water over here. I suppose we could also do the consumer goods, but food and water is going to be quite critical. We'll also want to deliver some colonists to the moon as well. So, we're going to need a ship over here. So this is a list of ships. Work in progress. More changes coming soon. They're very, very clear that some things are coming. Some of the information, could probably be better organized, and there's but overall, it's actually pretty good because things are sortable. It's going to be lovely. Anyway, let's go ahead. We'll purchase a new ship, and we'll see what we can do. So there are a variety of vessels already available. We've got the Doing 709, the Doing, 909, the Doing 919, the Space Bus D500, the Sparrow rocket, and the Neptune rocket. What's interesting about these two rockets, they're super cheap, but they're only one-time use. They go and they land. One of the things that's worth noting about these guys is both of these can land at a level 1 spaceport, which is your initial spaceport on a colony. Whereas the Doing 909 needs at least a level 3 spaceport, which means the 909 can go to Mars, but the 919 needs level 6, so it can't go to Mars, and the Space Bus needs a level 4. Even though it's more... Right, the Doing 919 is our biggest one right now. The Space Bus is a little smaller, still needs a level 4, so there's going to be some limitations as to where it can go. However, Earth to Mars isn't going to be too bad, so we'll use some of that. In fact, we'll probably use some fairly large ships. Well, I don't have a ton of money. Maybe I'll start with the Space Bus D500s for this, and then we can send them off on some other route later on. What's our fastest? Let's look at the system speed as well. Yeah, the D500 is quite fast as well, so that might be a little bit better to go to Mars later on, so we can redirect those guys. It's worth noting that the rockets over here are very, very speedy. So we'll start with this. You can mix and match. You have to decide what kind of cargo it's going to bring by configuring its storage spaces. You can mix and match in any sort of way that you want. It's probably best to sort of mostly specialize. I suppose we could do a big Doing 919 to start off with. That's a little bit split up, but I'm going to go with one ship that's bringing all food. So it's going to be on the Earth-Luna direct route to get started. It will go ahead and launch from Earth, which is where we have one of our maintenance ports, I think. So that's, I think, why it starts there. We'll tell it to launch, immediately once we have it, because it's going to take 25 days before this vessel gets delivered to us. So we will order this ship. So it's in the list. I'm going to go ahead and remove all the dry climate controlled storage. I'm going to add a bunch of liquid storage over here. I'll order another vessel like that. And then finally what I'm going to do is I will do a passenger ship. Now I don't know if different people use different types of seating. Any passenger type, any passenger type, any passenger type. Okay, so we'll just all have first class seating here. And we'll do the Earth-Luna direct, because some people will want to move out there. So, we spent a fair amount of money, but it's not too bad. We've got a trio of ships kicking around over here. They're all going to be coming in at the same time. It will be slightly awkward, because we only have the one gate to launch from. The route between Earth and the Moon is so short that you probably want something like one gate for every 2 ships. But let's start with this over here. Now, we can do a couple more tuning jobs over here. On Luna, when we get there, by default, it's going to just try to unload everything all the time. It'll sell it directly to the market. You could end up in a situation where there's no more demand for food and water. We might overdo it, and we might sell it right away, even though there's no real demand, which isn't great. You don't get as much money for it, and actually the planets aren't very impressed. Reputation is going to be one of the things, and picking up things is going to be a way to do that. So I'm going to say this. On the Moon, when we arrive here with food, instead of just force selling it all, we're going to deliver and store. So we're going to try to sell as much as possible, but if the demand's already satisfied, then we're going to store it in our company hangar, which we can then pick up stuff from here and send it somewhere else later on. Because the Moon's quite small, it's actually fairly cheap for us to take off from here, and so it's a good stepping stone actually for other resources down the road. So we'll make this probably a sort of a central port for us. So we're gonna do that with food and water for now. We might do some more of that later on. So deliver and store. So that's been tuned up. So we can unpause the game at this point. Probably go up to speed 2, and that's gonna be okay. The planets, the planets do move around. Depending on what speed, you'll be more obvious. But yeah, you can see the Moon definitely going around the Earth over here, which is swell. Yeah, size 5 planet over here. You can see my competitors are purchasing some of the gates over here as well. And yeah, we're waiting for some of our ships to arrive. We will be setting up a route to Mars soon, but not quite yet. Now, if I do pop back out to the galactic view, we can take a look at other systems nearby. Here's Vendemiatrix over here, a completely different system. It's got a handful of planets. Some are more habitable than others. These don't look particularly appealing, so they might not be supremely colonizable. Yeah, 0%. But there might be some other sweet systems that, won't be so bad. Right now, we actually can't get here. I mean, first of all, there's simply no colonies on these things, and we can't initiate our own colony as far as I know. Like, if I were to click on Venus... no, I can actually subsidize a colony here. I could get one started if I want to rush things. Although I don't know that's the best use of our money. But we can't actually do that in another system. Yay! Our first space bus has arrived. We can't do that in another system because faster-than-light travel hasn't been invented yet. So we have to exist entirely within the Sol system to get started. Our ship over here, you can see... Oh, we could name these guys as well. Our first ship has gone and left, and the next one is now at the gate. So there's our ship. Hey, made us $5,800 over here, delivering some stuff to Luna, and that's wonderful. So it's selling the water and the food directly over here, which I'm quite keen on. We can minimize some of the turnaround time on Earth because, so these are the buildings that exist on Earth. We can actually build some more if we find, see these little spots here are empty, and we can build something in here instead. We can build a local office, which initially when we build it, it hurts our company reputation a little bit, but then it builds back up over time. Reputation is good for lots of things. A taxi service is quite nice. So we build this on the planet. 85% of base loading, unloading time for all your ships docked to the planet. Stacks with your other taxi services here. So we can minimize our loading and unloading time by having a taxi service. We can even upgrade it if we want. By keep spending it, and you can see now we're at 70% of loading time. So that'll accelerate things. Probably a half decent way to spend some of our initial money. We might want a second gate because I think our ships are sort of waiting around. So I will go ahead and lease a second gate. There you go. You can see he's going to land here. So now on occasion there's going to be an unused gate. So I'm thinking we build another ship here. And I suspect maybe we get another water ship. Oh, we don't quite have enough money for it, I think, right? I think these ships are a little bit more expensive. We've been using space buses. 41,000. We're not that far off. And there's a very handy just clone button as well, including you can look at your profit. You can sort by profit as well. So it's like take your most profitable ship. So this one's the least profitable, probably because, oh, it's actually the water one. That's interesting. And this one's the most profitable. That's lifetime though. So anyway, we can just keep cloning. Oh, how come you got stopped? Did I accidentally hit that? I might have stopped you. That might be why there's not a whole lot of stuff going on with you. We will need a second spaceport on the moon as well, because right now there's going to be some ships sitting idle over there. But let me go ahead and duplicate that. Ship maintenance is also a thing. We've got just enough money. I'm going to go ahead and... so who are you? You're the food one? Seems okay. Oh, probably when I check the loadout is when it changes. So I'm going to clone you, so we spent another 41,000. We'll get a second food ship. But yeah, they're going to spend a lot of time hanging out in orbit around Luna unless I lease a second gate, which I can do because they're a lot cheaper here. So there we go. So we'll have a lot more flow through. Still some colonist demand over here. If we take a look at our finances screen over here, we've got all kinds of numbers we can also sort things by route. Or by individual ships as well. So that might be an incentive for like name your ships in a reasonable manner. You can change the way that this is being accrued as well, although we haven't played the game long enough for these next numbers to matter. You can take out loans. We actually start with a loan over here, 39% interest rate. Now, I don't know if that's like the total interest rate as opposed to monthly or whatever. I don't know. That does seem a little bit insane. We may need to repay that sooner rather than later. Loan interest, yeah, it's pretty expensive, actually. We're spending a lot of money on our loan, so repaying that as early as possible might be great. So we can see our ships. I did turn off, let's see, let's show the other ships and my competitor routes. Oh, you can see that there's a competitor that's already got a route going out to Mars over here. And yeah, they're leasing both those gates, so they're trying to go back and forth over there. I mean, we'll want to get in there, but it's going to be okay. Ooh, a new space bus has arrived. That's cloning our ships from before. And yeah, we've got a pair of gates on both, so we should be in pretty good shape. Yeah, we still have tons of water. So what I need to do is I need to clone my water ship, because I've cloned the food ship, right? I think so. Water demand's not as high. It's kind of interesting. It's using more water, but it's got more water. Now, if I build any more ships, I'll need some extra stuff over here. Some extra gates. Especially since I don't have the taxi one. Probably buying taxi stuff may have been a mistake. It may have been better to just expand my ships and my holdings and whatnot. So your ships need maintenance from time to time, but on Earth we do start off with a maintenance shed, which will go and will help fix up our ships in there, which is nice. We do start with an office over here for reputation, a security station. Now some of these are like owned like by the planet itself, which is kind of interesting. If we take a look at where's the security icon over there? So you can see like a security radius around the planet where your ships are protected. In addition to that, if we go out to the system view, you can mouse over. So security level in this system is 47%. Space piracy is a thing, and yeah, you don't defend it. You don't build military ships. You do build security stations, and then you get little cops over there, but it's kind of interesting. I love all the map modes for checking things like, oh, actually, even from space. So this is rare resources, so it's highlighting every system with a rare resource, and if I zoom into the system, I can see which planet, or in this case, which moon, has rare resources available, for example. That is actually kind of handy. Speaking of rare resources, we need to bring rare resources from the moon to the Earth, do we not? Because you've got some. Yeah, raw materials, rather. And the Earth wants raw materials. It wants lots. Okay, we are going to make a new ship. I would love to just go to the big one, but let's make another space bus over here. It's going to be fun. And you are going to be carrying the dry hopper, yeah, which has got rare materials. You'll do Earth Luna direct. You'll start from Earth, it doesn't matter. And we'll do that. So you'll be ferrying some of those goods back and forth. And with the reduced loading time on Earth, we might not need another gate, but I think I'm going to go and rent another one on the moon, especially since it's a little bit cheaper over here. It seems like a relatively good idea to minimize waiting times. So yeah, it's got the large resource mine. I mean, I can go and subsidize more of these mines as well to get more and more production kickstarted. You still have a lot of demand for colonists. If we take a look at the Earth, we can see groups of people waiting. Lots of people waiting to go from Earth to Mars. Now, let's take a look at Mars and see how it's doing here. It still has a big demand for food and water and colonist demands. Although, yeah, unless we get a higher spaceport, I'm not going to be able to run anything over there. Well, that's not true, because I believe I can run one-shot deals. Let's go ahead and we're going to initiate a route, which is the Earth to Mars route. Now, if I've done that, I believe, even though I don't have a landing pad, I think I can build these rockets. I'm going to use the Neptune. I mean, I guess it's double the price for double the amount of stuff. all comes out to about the same. It's fine. It needs less time at the landing pod. We're gonna get some liquid. So you're gonna be running the Earth-Mars Direct, launching immediately from Earth. We're gonna do one of those. Actually, I'm gonna do 2 of them back to back. Then I'm gonna do 2 food ones back to back. Then we're gonna go and get some first-class seating so that we can get some people out over there. So we should make a little bit of money with these things. There's our rocket. Vroom. If you don't like the orbit lines, you can turn them off, but I think that is way too disorienting. I like them on. I don't imagine why anyone would want to take them down. So there's this thing here is carrying some water. See, it's guarded for now, although once it gets out of the security circle. So there's all our little Neptune rockets heading out there. So we'll get some deliveries. We'll probably make a little bit of money. Venus not... Oh, right, because I've got it filtered to rare things. I like setting it to... like population, because it'll really highlight things that have been settled or not. Oh, new starship. Space Bus 520 is now available. Ooh. We'll have to see what that's like. We've actually accrued quite a lot of money. We may want to bring more colonists over here. So let's go ahead, purchase a new ship. The 520. Okay. So it's got more capacity than the Doing 919. It's very fast. It's actually more fuel efficient, too. Tell you what we're going to do. You're going to be first-class seating hauler. Earth to Moon. You're going to bring some colonists out there. So you still got that. You actually have an excess of water now. You still have a huge amount of demand for food. And these demands will go up as we bring more colonists there. I think I might make another ship to haul food out to the moon. Because clearly it could use it. I would like to make a really big ship for this. Probably. So let's wait until we've got a bit more cash. I suppose I could take out a loan. But I still have my loan, right? You know what? I think it makes more sense to pay this off, because that interest rate is insane. There we go. And we might need some new landing spots, although there's... Yeah, we're waiting every now and again. No, that's not much of a wait. We seem to be okay. What I would like is a clear indicator of how many ships might be waiting. Like, there's one that's clearly waiting. And presumably it's only showing ours. Well, we've only got the 2 gates on Earth. That's true. Let's get another one. We've got the faster turnaround time at the taxi, but I think it's probably worth doing this. And yeah, I think what we're going to do is get another food one. There's not much of a food surplus, though, on Earth. Lots of a water surplus. Yeah, you still got some. We're all right. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a cut in here, and next episode we're going to keep developing Luna, but very soon we're hoping that Mars, we'll get news when things upgrade over here, and again, I could spend money to increase it, but we're going to try, next time it upgrades, we're going to buy probably both gates right away, try to like lock down as many spots as possible, and start shipping out here fairly aggressively. Everyone wants machinery to upgrade its development. Mars doesn't really offer anything, but we should still, well, not right now, not without anything else being developed, but it should be all right. How's the moon doing? Up to 11.2 million people. Still got demand. Doesn't have a ton of raw resources kicking around, but some of it. There's our new space bus, which is going to be delivering people back and forth over here, is underway. And we've got 3 and 3 when it comes to the landing spots. This guy here's sitting in orbit for a little bit. I think we're all right. I think we're all right here. Because that's good there, too. And presumably we're making good money. All right, yeah, we'll put a pause in here. Thank you very much for watching, folks. This is Interstellar Transport Company. We're going to make at least 2 more episodes of this, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.